guys, welcome to my documentation of building a business when you have ADHD and a lifelong battle with depression and imposter syndrome and just feeling like a failure most of your life. I'm making this documentary. It is going to be a mixture of different mediums. Like I'm right now, I'm using my cell phone because I went to use one of my cameras and all of the batteries are dead. So that's fun. One of the major struggles when you have ADHD or any learning disability, any impediment that stands in your way of a neuro-typical brain. We don't have that. So the reason I am deciding to make this documentary / film / whatever it is, this is kind of the behind the scenes aspect of it, because one of the things I'm struggling with in my business and in my creative brain is that you don't see very often the successful influencers and the people who are making it. Very rarely do you see what really goes on behind the scenes of making a business. And especially not one when you are from the ground up. You maybe sometimes see it when it's already a thought, and I'm in the process of making my life into the way I want it to be, and it is very messy. I don't know what it's like to do this with a neurotypical brain. So I've heard it's hard no matter what, building your own business and doing all this stuff. And I am giving you an inside look on what it is to build a business from the ground up. I have such a vision for this project, for this company that I'm building. It will one day be a company. One of the things I'm majorly struggling with is feeling like I'm doing it all by myself, which is great as the creative aspect, but a lot of everything else, when you have ADHD, if you focus on one thing, you hyper-focus on it. And everything else kind of falls to the wayside. Like, I'm building this business. I'm trying to keep myself thinking about creating and keeping myself in flow, if you've heard that term. And just doing everything it takes to get myself building and creating and waking up every day with all the things I mentioned in the beginning of this. I can't speak for anybody else, but it is really hard. And this may sound like I'm complaining. I'm not. I also apologize if you're here, this audio isn't so great. I have fans going because in my apartment it is deathly hot, and yeah, so, but it's hard as it is, but I can't make everything happen at the same time. Because I'm focusing on building the business and trying to get it bringing some income in, because I have exhausted all of the financial resources that I have. aka my mom, is my financial backer, and she and I have kind of depleted her savings. So because I have been laser focused on doing stuff, but I'm lost, and I have the vision and I have the plans, but everything I am trying to do, I know I need a team for, and I now don't have any money to pay a team. So this is going to be very messy. This is going to be very scary. And I know there are a lot of people in my life, especially, who have heard of me doing my stuff over the years. In the past, I was very much a quote-unquote loser. I lived a very dumb life, and I'm just saying that point blank because that's basically what it was. I was not living to my full potential. I was living so far below it that it was disgusting, it was ugly, and I have made leagues of difference, of changes in my current life. I have more anxiety, ADHD isms. I have much more, like my body is right now like full buzzing right now because I'm just, I have more issues, and yet I'm more certain of my direction in life, where I'm going, what I want to do, and that has me feeling a lot more secure. But based on my previous life, my previous history, and all the other stuff that I've done, I'm scared because building a business, I've heard, is really difficult, but doing it with my brain is even scarier. And anybody who has heard of me starting my own business is probably in the background going, "Are you insane?" There is a very good chance, yes, I am. But I am on a mission to not only prove to myself that I can do this, but to help inspire and empower other people with disabled or disordered brains. Brains that don't function the way neurotypical brains do. I am not dumb. I am not useless by any means. I have a creative brain. I can think. I have empathy and compassion, and I am just trying to do my part in this world and make it a better place. I have a very pay it forward mentality in my brain, and a lot of people don't see that. I mean, they see that I'm a kind person. They see that I care, but they don't see the internal struggles that I face, because how can they? It's internal. It's all in here. And I often get labeled as lazy or as entitled or spoiled. And spoiled might be the one that you could maybe land on and it has some resonance. I have been spoiled my entire life by my mom and my grandparents. They raised me to be wanting for nothing. And none of us knew that that wouldn't be good in my future. They did the best they could, and now I am trying to overcome the internal world I grew up in was so different from the external world that it was very easy for me to take on assumptions and take on labels and take on so much judgment that I took it into myself, and I became what I was being judged on. Whether it was true or not, So throughout this series, I'm not sure if it's going to be individualized or if I'm going to put it all together at the end and you're just going to see the final product. The behind the scenes I'm probably going to release as it is, because I want you to follow along in the journey with me, because that's kind of the whole point. But I am going to get real footage and setups and get my actual camera going, my vlogging camera. I myself am going to document this. I am working to get a team assembled. I'm working to get the business established so that I can get bringing in some income. I don't like thinking that I'm a money hungry person, but right now it is kind of crucial. And so I put a GoFundMe page up a few days ago or a little while ago, and I was both humbled and humiliated at the same time, because I found quite quickly that money is what you can ask for all the help in the world from people, but money is a very sticky situation. And for some reason, when you ask for money for yourself, whether it's to build a business or something, there's a weird vibe, especially when you have a label like I do, as somebody who just sits by and collects money. I've been on Ontario Disability Support Program here in Ontario, obviously where the Ontario part comes from, JJ, because of my ADHD. It is a disability. It is classified in the government as a disability. There is a reason for it. I would say I'm high functioning. I am a medium functioning ADHDer. I can do a lot of stuff. I can get my brain, I can do small steps. Some days I have really good days and I can do a lot in a day, but other days I wake up and I am struggling. My brain is fuzzy. I have really dry mouth all the time. I can't eat. I rarely eat very well, and when I do, it's like a rough thing, and I don't give myself the proper nutrients. Again, I'm building a business. I'm focusing on one area of my life, and everything else seems to kind of go by the wayside. So this is going to be a documentary for myself, for you guys. I want to be able to track my progress as I go and track the journey. But I also want to explain the struggle. There will be days where in this thing where I am crying my eyes out because something isn't going well. I'm trying right now not to do it because this is the beginning of it and I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. But there it is. I am at a point in my life in the journey of this process where I'm scared. My mom is terrified because we are both in a very sticky situation. And the reason I'm making this video is for anybody who is doubting my who doesn't know what I'm trying to do. Maybe you're thinking, oh, this girl has her head in the clouds if she thinks she's going to get any financing, any financial help from anybody because of whatever reason. Asking for that money on the GoFundMe page, please, it is the scariest thing in the world. For some reason, I could have asked for a kidney probably easier than I could have asked for a little bit of money. And it was a little bit of money because the GoFundMe page, while it had a bigger number, I did not expect anybody to donate even I don't even know. Math and I don't go along, but I did not expect anybody to donate big lump sums. I was hoping that maybe family might drop in the bucket and work its way up. Because I'm building this business for a bunch of reasons. One of the main reasons is because I have found in my life of the decisions I've made, the poor decisions I've made, the smart decisions I've made, things I've done in my life that have led me. I am a high school dropout. I am a person who had a situation come up in high school that led me down a very rocky road. And had it happened all over again, I would have taken the same route, because it was a situation at the time that was fairly serious. And I didn't know, it was kind of like a fork in the road situation. And one way, they were both detrimental, but one way could have led to a really bad situation, aka someone dying, or not. So I went the route that I will get into a story later in the journey, because we were just kind of getting to know each other. And yeah, so let's just say a social situation came up that put me down a different path, and the fallout from it took my mental health and it threw it down. And then just when I was getting back up, life started throwing stuff at me. And I have worked myself so that I am unemployable. I have been to many job interviews, and this might not be a good thing to put out there, but you know what? Full disclosure. People don't want to hire me. Or at least, not only in the beginning was my work record doesn't speak well. I don't stay long at a job when I do, because I have ADHD. And at the time, most of my life, I didn't know that. I didn't know I had something. I just was getting jobs because I'm a friendly person. People wanted to hire me, but they'd get me in there and find out I can't do half the stuff that normal people could. And it wasn't because I wasn't able to. I don't know. I wasn't able to, but I wasn't. If you know anybody with ADHD, if you don't, it is really, really next to impossible to get people with neurotypical brains focusing and everything. You do what, there's a lot of, we all do what we don't want to do. We all have to do things we don't want to do. And I'm sure this is one of the things that comes up and why people don't believe that ADHD is a thing, that it's just an excuse or it's just making something happen. That people with ADHD, it is next to impossible to keep us. We can maybe get the job, we can start doing stuff, but if it becomes dull, boring, if it becomes in any way like negative, there's a good chance it won't stick. This is what I've learned as I've been exploring the condition, and I found that I was losing jobs because I couldn't focus. I couldn't stay, especially like in fast food, which is all I really got. I could entertain customers. I could make them smile. I could, hopefully, if they were in a good mood. I could do that job, but when it came to like actually, I don't know what it was. I had poor time management skills. I would show up late. I wouldn't show up. Well, I would show up late, or I would show up late, and then I would stay longer, And I had trouble getting there, but then I had trouble leaving because, especially the last job I worked that was long, I liked working with people. Yeah. So, I was employable. And then I spent time at that job, and I lost it. I lost a job that I finally was proving myself to be effective in. I felt like I was actually valuable and valued there. I felt like I found people that I liked to work with. I finally got into a routine, which is hard for somebody with ADHD apparently. And I finally had established myself and felt secure. So secure that my mom and I had agreed to buy a house at the time for me in the city. And the week that we were to finalized or whatever, I lost my job out of the blue. And the story with that, I'll get into it at some point, but for someone who struggled with confidence and with self-esteem, it was gone. It was eradicated. I stopped believing in working for the man because the man don't work for you kind of thing. I started beating myself up. I started thinking, what's the freaking point? And then my mom got sick with cancer. And after I got over the fallout from that, we were starting to pick ourselves up, or I was starting to pick myself up. And then my grandpa died 2 years later. And to say that, like, it just kept feeling like every time I get to the peak of the mountain, I would fall off the cliff for something. And after too many times of that happening, back to back to back to back, I was then in a depression for the last 10, 12 years. A depression that had me waking up every single day wanting to end it all. And I mean every single day. This is something that people don't know about me. Every single day I did not want to be here. And up until 2008, I had tried 5 times not to be here. Because I thought that my existence was pointless. And I am finally at the point in my life right now, as I'm starting to make things happen. Amazing things are happening, and I'm making them happen, but they're not happening at the rate I would like them to be, because the financial pressure has just been added in a big way. And all of the issues that I faced in the last 10, 12 years, I'm trying to find the resources. I'm trying to find the ability to pull myself up and out of it. And I am. For having so many anxiety issues and ADHD issues lately, I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. And it's because I'm finally taking my life seriously. I'm starting to finally take actions, make dreams happen, and taking actions. I am enrolled in so many courses and classes that's half the reason why I don't have any money now. But they're courses that I've never stopped learning, growing, expanding. Like, so anybody that has questioned me over the years, I may not have been out in the workforce. I may not have been employed working my fanny off, which would, unfortunately, that's that's a bummer on both of us. Literally, I would show you, but that's just too personal. Let's just say the fanny, needs some fannedness. But yeah, so I'm finally at the place now in my life where I am happy, but I am struggling still. I am out of the depression phase, but now I'm in the make or break phase. And so I'm not stopping. I have so much drive and determination and all the stuff that, like I said, I'm training. I'm learning how to actually grow and start a business. Like, all those books right there are me teaching myself to be and grow a business. Be an entrepreneur and grow a business. And I may not have a credential, but I have a lot of experience in life being unemployable. And that just, all that told me was that I don't fit into the system. Somewhere along the line, the system didn't work for me. It didn't work with me. It made me question who I was. It made me doubt everything about me. It made people hate me, judge me, rip me apart. It made family think I was a loser. And I stopped feeling like I was part of a family, because I hated showing up to family functions. I haven't been to one in a long time, because I can't show my face anymore. I'm tired of either being, oh my God, what are you doing these days? And either I'm talking a big talk only to have something not come to fruition, not work out, not pan out. I gave up on myself, and I was tired of letting people down. I was tired of letting myself down. But then I was also tired of the times when I would go and there wasn't anything to talk about, having nothing to talk about, or having people stop even asking what I was doing with my life, because they either already knew or they didn't want to even, it wasn't worth asking. So I don't go to family functions anymore, because it is detrimental to my health, to my mind, and I've basically eliminated every person from my life who hasn't supported me or hasn't even reached out to see how I'm doing. I struggle myself with that, so I know that this is going to sound really hypocritical for some people, but over the last 2 years, I have been really evaluating who I want in my corner and who I want in my circle. I love people, and I love my friends, and I love my family. That's not what I'm saying here, but there are people who I know support and love me, and then there are those I question. I'm putting all of my abilities, my attention and focus on people who are trying to cheer me on and build me up. I'm not talking about money right now. Anybody who can hear what I'm doing without judgment, who can see that I've been making headway, anybody who's like just kind of sitting there cheering for me silently, I know those people exist, and they're the ones that I have been reaching out to and making contact with, because I'm curating my world so that it's full of people that support me as well as I turn around and support. I have always been a person that I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I care about people, And I care way too much about what people think. And I care so much that it has haunted me my entire life. Because I have given everybody else room to judge and criticize, and yet every time I would walk away from a conversation where that happened, I would feel this big. I'm already tiny, but I would feel like an ant. Because I wouldn't have measured up, or something didn't just, advice that I would be given or tips that I'd be given would just, all I heard was, you really don't know who I am. And after having that thought with so many people in my life, I am now far more vocal. This is why, another reason why I'm making a lot more public videos like this, because I'm tired of being misunderstood, and I'm tired of people not knowing who I am or why I do the things I do. And there is advice that says nobody deserves to know. You don't have to go explaining yourself and apologizing for everything. And while I agree with that, there are people in my life who I do want to explain this to. And this video is for those of you who do get it, who do understand, or who don't but want to. This video, I can see a few people not liking it, or thinking that it's very exposing, very out there. Oh my goodness. I can hear the judgment, and it sucks, because I'm so sad that I hold myself to a standard that isn't my own. But I'm working to change this. I am finally getting the courage to put myself out there and to explain to the people who matter to me, who I matter to, that I may not be your typical neurotypical person. I may not be somebody who you get or you understand. I may do things completely differently than what you would. And I am learning to be okay with that, because this world is so big. There are so many different kinds of people. And I'm tired of diminishing myself, reducing myself to the point where I don't feel like I have the right to have a voice. I am just as capable of building a world that I might not fit into the world that you are a part of. And this is going to sound weird, but it does feel like there are a bunch of different worlds all on this planet. And I'm in the process of curating my own world. I hope that it will be kind of like a Venn diagram, where my world kind of connects with other people's. There will be a merging in the middle where our lives merge, where our little circles connect. And the people who are in that edge of the globe will all be in it together. And then there will be people who are in the middle that our lives just don't touch anymore. And the wonderful thing about social media is that we have the ability to still be connected, but we don't have to be immersed. And I'm scared, because I don't want to lose people. There are people in my life I really don't want to lose. But there are also people in my life that I hold myself, if more than anything else, to a certain standard that I can't reach myself. I don't know if it's the pressure that has been put on me or that I put on myself. But I am now living my own life. and I'm trying to build my world so that I fit in my own world. People used to tell me when I was a kid, she lives in her own world. She's in her head all the time. Her life, like, you live in fantasy land. You know what? Had I realized that, had I heard that, what you were really saying to me, it's the part that bothers me so much about my life is that I have always been this imaginative, creative person, this person who had big dreams and big goals and big aspirations, that had I heard what you were saying, or whoever it was that was saying, you live in your own world, that right there says, I'm not in yours. I'm not in this world with you guys. Like, I am in my own little world. And just like you guys can live and work in yours, so can I. I could function in my own little world. Only issue is, as I've grown older and found out what ADHD has, it's an executive functioning issue. Some people I've heard say that it's literally there's a part of the brain that's missing, or there's a part of the brain that isn't connecting. The neurons or the neurotransmitters aren't connecting, and that's creating the issues. So I know firsthand, without a doubt, before very long, I am going to need at least 2 members of my team in order to make this career, in order to make this business truly thrive. An assistant, because I am going to be letting a lot of things slide that can't be, like the house. And yes, you just saw, that is Mike. No, there. Mike, and I think that's Dave. I think I've called him Dave. It's either Dave or Kevin, I can't remember. But I'm a filmmaker, and I had COVID. Sorry. I didn't have COVID. During COVID, sorry, that's wow. During COVID, during quarantine and all that stuff, I was trying to make films, and I had no actors. So I created men. And I created people. It wasn't supposed to be 2 of them. There was only supposed to be 1. But they weren't made properly the way I had envisioned, so I worked until it did. And now it's pretty much almost perfect. There's another one, Tom, but he's put away in his box right now because he was bad. Just kidding, he fell apart. He didn't come as expected, so. But yeah. Anyway, I wanted to get that out of the way because you probably will see them in videos and wonder who's she living with. They're just chilling. And, yeah. Really glad he has pants on because that would have been really awkward. But yeah, so anyway, I'm in the process of making things happen, and it's going to be messy. It's like, in building this business, my life is what I started to show you guys. My world is a complete disaster behind the scenes. Like, I've already started to make a documentary of living with ADHD, so wait for that. That's coming too. I'm making a bunch of documentaries, and that was really high-pitched and squeaky, but this is the stuff I'm doing, and while my argument works, it's double-sided. My reasons for why I can't do stuff in normal world Like, my ADHD, I struggle with stuff in the real world, but in my world, I'm going to make it work for me, with me. I'm going to find the ways around it, like hiring people to help me function with other tasks that I can't do, that my brain just will not sit still and long enough for me to do. I am creative, I am imaginative, and I can brainstorm, and I can do all that stuff. I love times when my brain will actually be like, hey, I feel like cleaning today. Hey, I feel like doing some house chores today. That is freaking awesome when that happens, but it does not happen very often. So I'm probably going to have to hire a personal assistant and house cleaner in order so I can do what I do, or what I'm going to be doing, which is creating. And right now, I am trying to do all that. So bear with me. Come along on the journey. I hope that you will be supportive, and any critiques, I will welcome them. But there will be a section of there'll be an area where you can go to do that, so that I'm actually going to curate some sort of an area for feedback, so that anybody who has constructive criticism that I might take a little personally, sensitively, or whatever, it's going to go into a file somewhere in my systems, in my website or some online forums, where I can go in knowing that I'm going to be looking for it's not gonna like hit, you hear people going through their comments and all of a sudden a comment hit them and it was so like, oh my god. There was going to be a column for positive and there's going to be a column for negative or constructive feedback. And I hope that everybody will contribute. I hope that you guys will come along on this journey with me. This has been 42 minutes and a cell phone is almost dead. But this is going to be a wild ride. But it is there's so much behind this, and there is going to be so much amazing stuff coming out of it. I can't wait to share it with you guys. I can't wait for you to see what I've been working on and see that I'm not just a loser, and I'm not just sitting by sitting waiting for life to happen. I'm making life happen, but it is taking time and it is expensive. And now I'm reaching out to anybody who will help contribute anything so that I can keep trying to build this. I'm not asking it may sound like I'm asking for handouts, and if that's how you are taking it, I am very sorry for that. It's not my intention whatsoever. I'm asking for help, because and it doesn't necessarily have to. Do you know somebody who's looking for work who is okay right now for like being paid retroactively? Like I could use support in that category as well. Anybody that knows anybody looking for experience right now, I hate doing that, but until I get financing, I'm having trouble. So if there's anybody who knows of anybody looking for work who does anything, please let me know. I will be putting my social stuff down below. DM me, call me, whatever. Let me know, because then I want to create a world that I can thrive, and I also want to create a world where I'm able to employ other people who may or may not have struggled in life themselves. Like, I want to pay it forward in so many ways. Once I get to where I'm trying to get to, I'm building an empire. is the word I keep hearing in my own head. This is an empire I'm building, and empires take a lot of freaking work. They take a lot of grit, and they take a lot of support. I can't do it alone, and I'm going to kill myself trying, and I'm going to kill my mom trying. Like, I need help. So if you know anybody who can help me, if you are somebody who could help me, who would be willing to donate time, money, resources, let me know. I'm trying to find them myself, but that's an area I'm struggling with. So if you could, it would mean the world to me. Anything that you can do, or any of you can do, anybody knows anybody that can do anything, I would be over the moon with gratitude. And it takes a village, they say. Please be my villagers. Thank you. Bye, byDay. I'm JJ.